Today, a Redditor shares that they're scheduled to get their arm amputated and they're excited about it. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, our next story is, I made a compliment to my girlfriend and now she won't stop asking me if I was serious. It happened 4 days ago. I came home from work as every other day when I found on the couch my girlfriend, our 2 baby girls of 3 years, and our 5 dogs napping all together, and my girlfriend there awake trying hard to reach for the phone with a hand. Just to describe the scene, our 2 baby girls on my girlfriend's belly and chest, and our 5 dogs spread all around the couch snoring like they worked 16 hours. So I just went in, saw the scene, and just looked and said, well, if this isn't happiness, I don't know what it is. But the thing that caught me off guard was that my girlfriend started to get emotional and asked me if I was serious because my hair is messy and dirty. These 2 little demons stopped fighting 5 minutes ago for a toy and then just fell asleep on me like I was a pillow, and these 5 furry things are snoring like there's no tomorrow. You sure this is happiness? I just laughed and told her that I was pretty sure. We kissed and I found a tiny empty space between our dogs and my girlfriend and we all cuddled there. A sweet scene, of course, but I didn't know that my simple compliment meant so much to my girlfriend because until today, my girlfriend kept asking me about my compliment and if I was sure about it, and every time I say yes, she gets emotional and tells me, "Thank you, honey, you have no idea how much it means to me." So I'm not sure about this because I really didn't think much of it, but apparently to my girlfriend it really means a lot. At this point, I think that it was the genuinity of my words that caught her off guard because I don't have any other explanation. So simple, yet so powerful. Edit, what the freak? I just went back to my post and wasn't expecting for sure this. Thanks to everyone for the kind words and comments, and I still can't believe that a simple episode like this could attract so much attention. So again, thank you all. You're right to say that my girlfriend needed my words more than I can imagine, and honestly it happened other times that I would say stuff like this, but like I said, it's the first time she brought it up for days. And a special thanks to the user that suggested a spa day for my girlfriend because actually it's a great idea for her, and I think it'll help her to feel less stressed and overwhelmed. So maybe I'll update you when I book it. Again, thank you all. I mean, you would be surprised how much a compliment really can mean to somebody who you might kind of take it for granted that they would take it at face value or just brush it off or something. I can imagine in her situation hearing a compliment like that, it kind of validates your entire existence and all the work you're doing as a person. Captain Awesome 92 commented, I can't really say what your partner may be feeling, but I would have said the same thing you did if it were me. There is nothing more special and heartwarming than seeing your loved ones all together, at peace, looking cute and natural. It's the best. I think that some women tend to feel that they need to be presentable all the time, and that it all has to look and appear perfectly in order for them to feel like they deserve the love and attention. Obviously, that isn't true. I don't know about anyone else, but seeing your woman, sweaty, messy hair, and baggy clothes from a long day of cleaning and doing the things is attractive as heck. I can't help but smile. I don't care about how they look or that they're sweaty and tired. I like to look and see this person that I love thriving naturally in the environment we built together, being the truest them, just existing. That's true love, man. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy crazy Redditor confessions, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? Our next story is, my girlfriend's clumsiness is driving me up the wall. I love my girlfriend and everything. She's a great person. She's generous, friendly, funny, interesting, the whole 9. But she's clumsy as freak and costing us both tons of money. When I first met her, it was a little more subtle, like we would buy groceries and she would drop something, breaking it. But over the years, she's broken so many things, including expensive things. For starters, when we're out in public, she hits almost everyone with her purse, no matter what. She walks with her purse hanging off of her shoulder and it rams into strangers. Oftentimes, they turn around and give her a dirty look, and yes, I agree with them. Second, every time she's in a room, my heart starts racing. I know she's going to bump into something and break it, which happens almost all the time. A few months ago, I woke up to a crash which sounded like an iPhone dropping. I woke up and looked, and it was near where my iPhone was. The next day, my iPhone starts crashing, and I find out it's damaged beyond repair. She tried to say that it's probably because I'm rough with my phone, but no, we both know the truth. Just yesterday, I bought a moderately expensive bottle of cologne and put it on a table. She was close to the table and boom, cologne falls, explodes. I wasn't even mad or sad. At this point, I'm used to her destroying everything. She tried to get mad at me and say, why did I put it on a table? But I quickly shut her down and said that's not important. She wasn't careful and knocked it over. Today, I come home from work and see she cleaned the house, which was nice, but my iPhone, the new one I had to buy because she broke the old one, was drenched in water. Thank God iPhones are waterproof, but what the freak? I get so stressed easily just being around her because I don't know what's going to break next. So, I would say an occasional thing is maybe just like a bit of clumsiness and whatnot. Maybe like a little bit of carelessness, but the frequency that it's happening with her and OP's tension regarding it, have they not like gone to a doctor or like some kind of specialist to try to understand maybe what is causing this kind of mechanism? Like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound normal. Like, could there be some kind of medical thing going on? Or is it like extreme clumsiness and just a total lack of care? Thin Entrepreneur 98 commented, I get it. I have an ex like this and I couldn't stay with him. It wasn't intentional. I think his was ADD related with a small side of lazy. It was like my house was booby-trapped after he left. Didn't close the freezer right, frost built up over a week, turned into a huge problem, had to empty it and defrost it. Couldn't put things away in the cupboard. I would open it and something would fall. Would put things on the edge of tables and then they bump and fall. Would move the shower head. Next time I turn it on, face full of water. He had a stove thing in his basement that helped heat his house. Overfilled it, caught on fire. Guy who services them said he's never seen one like that before. Romantic fire in the fireplace. His house. We fall asleep and a flaming log rolls out onto the floor. He's like, oh, I'm not surprised because of how I stacked them. What? After that, I thought, I'm going to die here. I ended it. Anxiety and stomach aches set in. He's still alive, and I'm not aware of any accidents in case anyone's wondering. Lives with his girlfriend, still alive. Our next story is, she left the job for her mental health. I took it. Now I get it. So, I just graduated high school this year, and with my family going through a tough financial time, I had no choice but to jump into a job my sister had to leave because it literally broke her mentally. She was working in a private home daycare 12 hours straight, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. No phone, no breaks, constant surveillance. 2 toddlers, one 4 years old, one barely 1. Sounds doable, right? It's not. I stepped in thinking, how bad can it be? Let me tell you, it's 12 hours of slow, mind-numbing insanity. You're being watched the whole time, can't check your phone, and have to entertain 2 little creatures who don't speak your language, cry without cause, and think biting is a love language. After one day, I went home and genuinely felt like I was in solitary confinement. I was staring at the walls like a prisoner of war. My sister got depressed from this job, and now I'm worried I'll end up in the same mental hole. The worst part? Time. Time doesn't move there. I swear, the clock has personal beef with me. I used to feel like days flew by until I started this job. Now I'm watching minutes crawl like snails on Ambien. I'm only doing this until my sister recovers mentally, but honestly, I'm starting to wonder who's going to recover me. How do people survive jobs like this? How do you stay sane for 12 hours with no phone, no distraction, no real conversation, just toddlers and silence and cameras? If anyone has some tips to make time pass faster and heck, please share, because right now, I think I've time traveled to 1993 and I can't get out. So I'm kind of confused about the entire setup of this place. How is it a job where you have to watch 2 kids, one's 4 years old, one's 1 year old, and you can't use a phone, and you're expected to just engage with them the entire 12 hours? Do even the stay-at-home parents who have the most free time in the world and like have a maid spend nearly that much time directly observing and engaging their kids in a single day? And in a 12-hour stretch, I bet these 4 and 1 year old kids are gonna have like a nap at some point, right? You can't do anything for yourself in that time. Like you literally have to just like sit there and watch them. Like it kind of sounds more like a horrendous science experiment than an actual job. OW Live commented, start reading to them, and you pick the books. Pick books that have real stories so you're entertained. It's okay if that seems above them. Just remember kids watch movies just fine. Pick award winners, pick classics, pick books that tell folklore, and pick things that interest you. And you don't need to make them sit and listen. Quiet, independent play while you read is an awesome skill for kids to learn. You can also act out scenes, read the same book in different languages, have them make art of the stories, and really spend a lot of time on a story if you like it. And all of it benefits the kids because they're hearing new words and sentence structures and learning how to learn. Our next story is, I can't stop thinking about the time my GM told my ex, "No, you're done talking." God, this setting is insufferably nerdy, but whatever. Several months ago, my ex and I were in a tabletop role-playing game campaign together. When this happened, we were still dating. The game took place over a Discord call, no video. My ex and I were in the same room. In the game, I had to make a critical, dramatic decision. There was a lot going through my head. While I was thinking about what to do, my ex could not stop telling me my options. The options were so darn eclectic, esoteric, and involved that it was just not realistic for me to execute. I could tell that he was just trying to be helpful, but all it really did was just make the decision process more complicated by adding noise. I was so preoccupied, I didn't even notice how much my ex was overstepping me, but my GM, Game Master, did. So he interrupted my ex and said, "Hey, stop, let her speak." My ex responded, "But I'm just trying to help." The GM replied, "I know, but she's more than capable of making her own decisions. She doesn't need you to do it for her." My ex replied saying, "But there's," and the GM cut them off, "No, you're done talking." My ex muttered, "Okay," in a slightly annoyed tone and then slouched in his chair. I actually had to turn away so my ex couldn't see the massive smile I had on my face. I somehow forgot that this happened. I only recently recalled the details of how it went down. At the time, I was so distracted that I didn't realize how grand of a gesture that was. The GM was so god-darn assertive and firm that it was almost chilling, and it was directed at my boyfriend at the time. By that point, I knew the GM for over a year, and he had never acted like that before. What gets to me the most is how my GM advocated my autonomy and capabilities. Historically, people have not done that for me. I don't get defended often, and when I do, I usually end up being infantilized. Now, whenever I think about this, I feel like kicking my feet in the air, twirling the phone cord with my finger, and going tee-hee over receiving some basic respect like some kind of god-darn schoolgirl. Yes, that's how badly I feel unimportant. I've been happier since I ended the relationship, and I'm glad I still have the GM in my life, even if it's only online. You know what? I honestly say that it doesn't surprise me that somebody who is willing to be the GM or the DM, maybe you can kind of refine it to someone who's a halfway decent one, would also be the kind of person that stands up for people and lets people have their own platform. I mean, I know it's kind of a nerdy thing to get into, but to be a good GM or a good DM, you have to be really good at collaborating. You have to be really good at allowing people to kind of make their own decisions and prop up their autonomy, and probably a lot of patience too. CapOK7564 commented, "Oh god, that reminds me that my poor DM, he abandoned us and half of his ideas were stolen. Yeah. Had to deal with my ex literally crashing out at me because I said I was cool with my character being kidnapped. Mind you, it was for her storyline that existed before I ever met said ex. Same ex would tell me not to say certain things because it sounded like I was being abused? Huh. If the shoe fits. Your GM is amazing. It's always wonderful when they advocate for their players and aren't scared to call out a problem when they see it. I'd be kicking my feet and going tee-hee too. Glad the other dude is an ex. So happy for you there." Our next story is, bought earrings behind my husband's back. Hubby and I went to a jewelry store the other day since I've had my eye on this cute pair of earrings. They're heart-shaped with some stones inlaid. I found them really pretty and I've been wanting them for a while. Anyway, when I finally showed him what I wanted, he said the earrings were too tacky because of the stones. He chose a pink camellia pair of earrings instead. Granted, they were pretty, but the heart wants what it wants, you know? He said he doesn't want to buy them now, but we could get them next time. To add, they were both in the same price range. We could compromise with getting the camellia pair or different heart-shaped earrings. I only liked that one heart-shaped pair in this particular store. Either I chose a different pair we both agree on, or else we go hunting in other stores. I chose the camellia. The thing is, I've always told him to tell me when something doesn't look good on me, no matter how harsh. We both agreed that if I were to get anything, be it clothes or accessories, he calls a spade a spade. I love it. Makes me know that that oversized horn-rimmed cat-eye style glasses makes me look like Roz from Monsters, Inc. He told me that the hearts looked so gaudy on me and doesn't suit my features. Fast forward to yesterday, I went to the same store but a different outlet and bought what I wanted. Wore them immediately when I got home. Today, my husband complimented me on how my earrings looked so pretty on me. And no, he did not notice that they were heart-shaped earrings. I love this man, but dang. So is this more a controlling thing or like a personal preference thing? Like he went to the store and he saw those heart-shaped earrings and was like, well, I personally just don't care for those, so I'm gonna say they look too gaudy. Definitely the most striking thing about this is the fact that they said those earrings are too gaudy, but when seeing them in person on their wife, they go, oh, they look so pretty on you. Embarrassed Yak 5845 commented, he didn't notice your new earrings were the ones he didn't like because he doesn't actually care about the earrings. His behavior in the store is a control tactic. He doesn't like the earrings you like the most and says, well, you can have these other ones or different ones that look similar, but not the only pair you like. Screw that 1,000 times. How much other stuff has he been like this with? Hairstyle? Clothing? He's manipulating you. It's fun for him to watch you pine over something and squirm and bend to compromise with him without getting what you actually want. It makes him feel superior that he has the final say over what you wear. Watch your back, these types get worse. Soon you'll be tailoring your whole outfit based on disagreements he started over a shirt you wore in front of a specific person, or that one time you did your makeup differently that made him suggest you were cheating or something ridiculous. Just watch yourself. If you feel like you're walking on eggshells, run before it gets worse. Our next story is, my roommate found my adult photos in her boyfriend's phone. I, 26-year-old female, have been living with my best friend Jess, 24-year-old female, for over a year now. We've been friends since we were kids, like 11 or 12. In late 2023, I had to move back to my hometown due to some personal issues, which really strained me financially. Around that time, someone I met in the city I used to live in offered me between $500 and $3,000 a month in exchange for illicit photos and videos. At the time, I was broke, working an unpaid internship to build my resume, and coming out of an abusive relationship, so I said yes. It wasn't a decision I made lightly, but I felt like I didn't have many options. Jess, knowing my situation, let me move into her basement at a very reduced rent. The house we live in belongs to the parents of her baby's father, and she uses a housing voucher to cover rent. Whatever I pay goes straight to her to help with bills and raising her child. A few months ago, her baby daddy Marcus came back into the picture. He had been gone for 6 months training for his CDL license. He moved back in with us to work things out with Jess and be more involved in their child's life. I was hesitant. He has a history of being abusive with her, but I kept quiet and tried to be supportive. I've been in an abusive relationship too, and I understand how hard it is to break free. Recently, I was laid off from my second job due to budget cuts. I hadn't been there long enough to qualify for unemployment. I had about $2,500 saved, but between rent, insurance, car payments, student loans, and basic living costs, it's quickly dwindling. I had already stopped sending content to the guy from last year. He started making increasingly uncomfortable requests. A few weeks ago, Jess had me add Marcus's cousin on Snapchat so we could keep tabs on Marcus when he went out drinking. Out of nowhere, the cousin messaged me asking to buy pictures. I told Jess and she said it's just how he is, and actually encouraged me to go through with it. She said something along the lines of, his money's good, he's done this kind of thing with other girls before, he's just lonely. But as far as I know, he's never been the type to send the pictures around. I wasn't totally comfortable with it, especially since he lives nearby, but I was desperate. I sent a few older pictures, nothing recent. Fast forward to this week, Jess texted me saying to stop sending anything to the cousin. She had just found my pictures on Marcus's phone. I'm gutted. I apologized to Jess immediately and told her I never would have done this if I had known the pictures would get passed around. She told me she wasn't mad and even apologized for telling me to do it in the first place, but I could feel the shift. I know she's angry. I would be too. The worst part is I feel violated and unsafe in my own home. I never imagined the father of my best friend's child would be saving my adult photos. I'm currently staying at my boyfriend's house. He knows about everything and supports me, but I honestly don't know what to make of this situation. Should I report this? I'm not sure if what he did is illegal or if the police would take me seriously, but this feels like a serious violation. I feel so ashamed, uncomfortable, and just flat out crappy. I guess I just needed to get this off my chest. I feel like I can't talk about this to anyone in my personal life. Edit, thanks to everyone who pointed out that I may not have much legal standing in this situation. I mostly just needed to vent. This whole thing feels incredibly messed up, and I honestly have no one to talk to about it. I can't tell my family because they would find out I've sold content online, which I'm not ready to share, and I can't tell most of my friends because that would mean admitting Marcus has my photos on his phone, which is humiliating for me, and honestly, I don't think Jess would want people to know that either. Thanks to those who listened without judgment, just having a space to say this out loud has helped a little. While I don't fault OP for necessarily taking that jump, because let's address it, being offered a $5,000 to $3,000 a month lifeline, I think that would make a lot of people consider it pretty quickly. It is unfortunately a very real risk to have happen what happened. Not necessarily it ending up on your friend's boyfriend's phone, but people who are out there soliciting these things and buying these photos, sharing them around. It's really kind of why, the most important thing, if you do end up taking photos like that, you try to make sure not only is your face not in any of them, but it's also ideally not identifiable even beyond that, especially if it's things like tattoos or like a room or something like that. Just basically trying to keep anything identifying at all to a total minimum. But then again, maybe that prevents you from getting $3,000 a month. Samantha Stitching commented, "It's a risk you take when you decide to sell photos like this. I get it. I have a friend that does it and she does very well from it, but you have to understand these are the risks. They absolutely get shared, posted online, everything. One guy paying for them, but so many more see them. This is why she doesn't do it with anyone she knows or could know someone she does. She knows they get shared. She just tries to distance herself enough to never know about it. I understand it does feel violating, especially with it ending up back in the house you live in, on your best friend's partner's phone. But it's not illegal, as it's not considered a revenge you-know-what as far as I know. You're just going to have to take this one as a learning moment." Our next story is, update, I'm getting my arm amputated tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. Edit, amniotic band syndrome occurs when the lining of the amniotic sac is damaged during pregnancy. This creates string-like strands of tissue in which the fetus gets tangled. These strands, called amniotic bands, may wrap around different parts of the developing body. This cuts off, constricts, blood flow and keeps the baby from growing normally. The constricted blood flow causes a wide range of birth defects. I, 21-year-old female, was born with amniotic band syndrome. My arm was affected. I couldn't move or lift my arm. It was dead weight. The amniotic band syndrome meant that my arm didn't develop correctly, so it wasn't like having a dead weight, unusable arm hanging at my side like a normal arm does. My arm hung differently. I couldn't move it or use it at all. The only feeling I had from it was either numbness or pain. Imagine having an arm hanging from your shoulder and chest that was dead weight, where you could feel the heaviness, but couldn't lift it or move it or use it like a normal arm, and the only feeling you got from it was either pain or being numb, and couldn't untwist it into a more comfortable or natural position. That was me. My parents refused to have my arm amputated, even though that's a normal thing for children with amniotic band syndrome, and doctors recommended it. I always had to wear long sleeves and I had to act like my arm was normal. I know now that my parents are the kind of people who act like they're special and important for having a disabled child, but they only acted like that in front of others. Meanwhile, I had to hide it and pretend like I had a normal arm. Doctors told my parents I was in pain. It was obvious before I could even talk. There was no reason for that. My parents are educated, they aren't religious, and they believe in science, but they never listened to any doctors. I spent my entire life in pain. I didn't finish school. I left before I was 18 because of the pain. I never ever slept enough. I could never have a job. I couldn't do stuff other kids did. I don't talk to my family anymore because of it. As soon as I turned 18, I went to see a doctor by myself without my parents. The doctor agreed that my arm should have been amputated when I was a baby. I was sent to a specialist, and there was no disagreement from them about doing amputation surgery. All of the medical professionals who were involved said they had never seen an adult in my situation before because the surgery is done on babies and sometimes young children. My parents, my siblings, and all the rest of the relatives tried to talk me out of the surgery, but like I said, I don't talk to them anymore. It will be 3 years in October since I had my arm amputated. I had what's called a shoulder disarticulation, and I have no regrets at all. I had the odd phantom ache or twinge right after the surgery, but that went away shortly afterwards, and those aches and twinges were nothing compared to the pain I had my whole life. I am still amazed as to what it is to have life with no pain. After the surgery, I had to learn to walk and balance again since the weight of my arm was missing, but now I'm able to do everything I couldn't do before. I got a part-time job after the surgery, and now I have a full-time with my provincial government. I went back to finish school, and now in September I'm starting university part-time at night. I can't go full-time during the day because I need to work full-time. It will take me longer to earn my degree, but I'm still going to do it. I want to be an accountant. I don't regret having the surgery. I'm fine only having one arm. The one thing that is a bit annoying is having to take shirts and tops to a tailor to get the entire sleeve removed, because if I don't go to a tailor, the fabric from the unused sleeve gets in the way. But that isn't a big deal compared to what having my arm was like. I know you shouldn't hate people, but I hate my family for denying me a life like this. I went to therapy after I got my full-time job to work on this, but I still hate them some days. I forgot I posted here until a while ago, but I want to post one more time because most people left kind comments or sent kind messages after my last post. Almost all of them were nice. I don't regret getting my arm amputated, and I would rather only have one arm if it means not having dead weight for an arm and pain. I don't care if anyone thinks I'm wrong about my arm. I'll only have one arm for the rest of my life, but I don't regret getting rid of my useless arm. When the arm is literally not usable, might as well be considered deceased compared to the rest of the body, and is causing incredible lifelong discomfort and pain, I don't find it hard to believe that OP truly hates the people who put her in that position. I think there's only one word for what OP's parents did to her, and it starts with an AB and ends in use. BZS Ball commented, "I was born with amniotic band syndrome too. My arm was amputated at birth, but about 20 years ago, I had to have the rest of it amputated to my shoulder. Have you ever known anyone else with amniotic band syndrome? I've known a few people and people who have had miscarriages due to it. All of the people affected by it that I've known have been female, including myself. Best wishes to you. Instead of a high five, I'm going to give you an internet nub five." Our next story is, why can't I be attracted to somebody I'm supposed to be with? I'm 31. I've started seeing a guy who's 53. He's intelligent, kind, funny. He cares for me. He remembers everything about me. I enjoy his company. He treats me so well. This is not a "but I like a bad boy" post. I don't at all. My biggest turnoff is arrogance, nastiness, etc. I like to feel secure in a relationship. I'm drawn to nice men who treat me with kindness and respect me. He is all of that. He's not conventionally attractive, I guess, but I'm very intimately attracted to him. Personality and connection has always been more important to me than anything. We have chemistry, eye contact, etc. I'm laughing with him in public. We're holding hands. We go out for some dinner. I'm desperate to be alone with him again. I want to be near him, kiss him, intimate with him. I look over to the table on the right. There's a woman about my age with her boyfriend who's about my age too. They're laughing. They look happy. They look content. And I just think, why can't I be attracted to a man like him? I'd have nothing to say to him or converse with him about. I've no interest in what 31-year-old men think about or do with their day. But why? I'm 31 too. Why do men always need to be older for me to feel a connection? I see a man my age who others would consider hot. Men my age who are conventionally attractive have been attracted to me and made it known. And I feel nothing. No butterflies, no flutters, no intimate excitement, nothing. I look opposite me and there he is. A middle-aged man, slightly overweight, balding, a bit cringy at times. And I have butterflies and can't wait until we can be alone. When I think about it, I wish I wasn't this way. I wish I could give people my age the time of day. I wish I could be attracted to somebody normal and suited to me. So other people can probably go into a bit more of the environmental upbringing and influences on this kind of thing. I would just say ultimately people do also just kind of prefer certain things. OP's brain, however the path they took to get there is clearly interested in a certain type of person. In my opinion, when you're 31 years old, if you're attracted to somebody who's 40, 50 plus, as long as they're a good person, what's the harm in it? WideWoo16 commented, Freud would say daddy issues. The Mal102 replied, absolutely daddy issue. Our next story is, she called me pretending to be him at 2 a.m. Let me be clear, my ex-fiance didn't move on, he cheated. And the new squeeze he cheated with? She's the one who called me at 2 a.m. using his phone pretending to be him. Yeah, read that again. It wasn't him, that was her. And this isn't even the first time she's done it. 3 times now, same number, same tired tactic. And I'm sitting here wondering, what's the reason? You got the man, right? You were the chosen one, right? So why are you still reaching out to me? Why are you checking for me at 2 a.m. when you should be sleeping next to your win? I'll be calling him tomorrow to confirm if it was him or not in the morning, but let's be honest, we both already know the answer. And if it was you, then best believe you'll be getting a call next. Because here's my real question. Why aren't you woman enough to use your own phone? Why are you still hiding behind his? You're not just insecure, you're clearly unsettled. And I get it. You know how all this started, you know the lies, you know what he did, and now you're realizing you never really wanted anything at all. And I want to also make it very clear, I've been no contact with this man since March when everything came out. Phew, really rattled my Sunday. Once I make the calls, I'll post tomorrow, Monday, with the update. You know, I'm just kind of wondering if OP kind of lives for the drama. Because when this guy cheated on OP and ran off with his new girl and OP continued to get these messages, they continued listening to them, taking stock in them, and didn't just block the number and move on. Why is it even worth OP's time to pay attention to those messages and those calls and make a Reddit post about all this? This Assumption 4123 commented, they're both cheaters, of course she's paranoid. He cheated on you, so he will eventually cheat on her, so did she really win by getting with a cheater? In the end, you won. They deserve each other, just block and move on, don't leave that door open. Our next story is, my sister is the most disgusting person I know, and just being near her makes me sick. I, 21-year-old female, now live with my mom and 2 older sisters, 25-year-old female, 31-year-old female. The eldest, I'll call her Jenny, is the most disgusting person I know. I can't explain it, just the sight of her makes me so sick I immediately feel nauseous. She makes too many noises, breathes too loud, she has no breathing problems, she burps loudly a lot wherever we are, she makes a point in sneezing while screaming and doesn't cover her mouth. Instead, she turns to face the closest person to do it. She sniffles a lot and cleans her nose loudly multiple times a day. I've found snot in our bathroom sink so many times, and it's disgusting. Her room always smells like a mug of coffee that's been sitting for 5 days. She's always seeking attention, even if negative, and always makes people around us uncomfortable. I've lost friends because whenever they come over, she keeps trying to talk to them and talk about herself. She's capable of breaking any electronic. She literally destroyed her last laptop. There were keys missing, the screen was failing and not attached to the frame anymore. There were literal big pieces of food inside the small vents. The laptop was only bought 2 years ago. Her tablet, bought 8 months ago, has a screen completely broken and sometimes stops working randomly. She leaves sweaty clothes scattered around the house after she comes back from the gym. Sometimes she litters them on the corridor right outside her room. She doesn't flush and has the audacity to scream at us if we forgot to flush. Don't even say, oh, just move out, you're an adult, blah blah blah. It's a third world place. Buying food is already difficult with 3 people working and providing for the house. Unsurprisingly, Jenny is not one of the people providing. I can't stand how disgusting she is. Our middle sister complains about this too, but how do we even address this? I can't stand this anymore. I feel like I'm living with a hippo that somehow caught rabies. Edit, some people were understandably confused about how she's a doctor and doesn't contribute, and I answered this in the comments, but our mom doesn't force her to. Neither is she interested in contributing. We can't kick her out. The house is our mom's and she doesn't want to kick any of us out. You know, as much as I would love to be pragmatic about this and be like, well, what OP should try to do or focus on is X and Y, it really is kind of a dead end when they say it's a third world place. They can't just like get a job and up and move out. Combined with the fact that the living space isn't like one that you could kind of try and avoid being around them all the time, I'm assuming. Like sharing a bathroom, for example. FeistyBag5284 commented, "Don't get me wrong, she sounds horrible, but your last paragraph got me laughing. Don't tell me to move out. It's a third world country. It's hard to buy food with even 3 of us. Despite gym memberships and all these many electronics, she keeps breaking and being replaced." Our next story is, I pretended I'm vegetarian for ethical reasons because I was just too broke to buy meat. It's been 3 months of pretending I'm morally opposed to meat and that I'm a vegetarian. She keeps praising my ethical lifestyle, and I feel like a fraud. It started on our first date when we went to this restaurant and I saw the prices. A burger was $18, but the veggie pasta was $12. So I went with that and said something like, "Oh, I'm vegetarian." She got all excited about dating someone who cares about animal welfare and the environment. Now I'm trapped in this lie where I have to research vegetarian talking points because she's constantly sharing articles about factory farming and I'm nodding along like, yeah, that's exactly why I don't eat meat. The worst part is she keeps suggesting these expensive vegetarian restaurants to support ethical businesses and I have to find excuses about why we can't go. She introduced me to her friends as her environmentally conscious boyfriend, and they all want to discuss sustainable eating habits. I've basically become an accidental activist for a cause I know nothing about because I was too embarrassed to admit I'm broke. Now I'm 3 months deep in this vegetarian persona, and I don't know how to come clean without looking like a complete liar. I even bought $500 worth of steak. Grizzly's Quest came in clutch for that, for a gathering, and didn't even eat it just because I'm in too deep now. But I also can't keep pretending forever because eventually she's going to figure out that my ethical choices are really just a lie. So I think this is definitely up there as one of the worst lies that continues to be perpetuated upon by somebody. Guys, I'm in a pickle. I lied about my entire identity and now I continued to lie about it so far that everybody in our immediate circle with my girlfriend thinks that I'm this person I'm not. What do? The simple answer is, OP is already screwed. They're so far deep into the story already. Revealing it now is going to be painful regardless. Either OP embraces and accepts a new vegetarian life that is a complete lie from the start, or OP tells them now, hopes that their partner can see past it. Who knows, maybe they'll find it funny. And maybe do some soul searching to see if they can figure out how to convince themselves to never make such a stupid lie again. In 325 Business Days commented, "This is the dumbest reason to lie. If you want to keep lying to save face, let her know it had more to do with health benefits. Alternatively, you could come clean and stop being a shady liar for no reason." Animator Difficult 429 commented, "It's so dumb because why do you even need to explain why you aren't ordering a burger? I eat meat all the time, and many times I order a vegetarian dish just because that's what I'm feeling like, and it has nothing to do with being vegetarian." Our next story is, fiance's a doctor and I do construction, starting to feel off about it. Throwaway, I've posted on my main before and a couple of guys I know follow that account, don't need the chirping. I don't really know how all this works, so sorry if I'm doing this wrong, just needed to get this off my chest. I'm 33, been with my girl almost 2 years, just got engaged, she's 30. I'm an iron worker, local union, been doing it since I was 19. She's a trauma surgery resident. Yeah, sounds fake. Thought the same thing when she first gave me the time of day. She's unreal, wicked smart, looks like she walked out of a magazine, total doll. Picked up modeling gigs here and there during med school, covered a chunk of her loans with that and being a tutor, got herself a nice apartment in the city with garage parking, cooks like someone's nana, still puts up with my crap and laughs at my terrible jokes. She's the kind of girl you don't meet twice. She got promoted recently, chief resident. I didn't know what that meant at first, but she explained it's like class president for surgery people. She acts like it's nothing, but I googled it and it's a big deal. She never acts like she's better than anyone though, still comes home after 18-hour shifts and watches the game with me, still jokes around despite seeing people die all day. I don't know how I got her, but I did. That said, I would be lying if I said it's all easy. She brings me to these department dinners, and her coworkers look at me like I wandered in off the street. Bunch of dudes with MDs trying to pretend they're not staring at her the whole time. All her coworkers in suits talking about surgeries and research and whatever. I'm standing there like, yeah, I tied rebar at 6 this morning and ate lunch in the back of a pickup. Half the time they look at me like I'm furniture. I don't say anything. I just sit there with my drink and wait for someone to say something slick so I can remind them I'm not the one to try it with. I'm not dumb. I just didn't go to school for 12 years. Doesn't mean I don't know what I'm worth. But sometimes I can tell even my own boys don't get it. They're proud of me for bagging her, but also talk about like I got nothing to offer back. It gets in your head after a while. I know I'm a good guy. I work hard and I make a decent living. I'm not some bum sitting around doing nothing. But I'm not saving lives either. Money's never meant much to me. My stepdad has plenty. Big house, fancy car, all that. But he made sure we always knew we didn't come from it. Treated my mom like she was lucky just to be there. Treated me worse. I promised myself I would never let anyone feel small over money. But when I'm standing next to someone who's got everything, it's hard not to hear those voices again. Today, she got another speeding ticket, and I told her she's got to slow down because the insurance is going to go up, and we're about to be sharing a plan. She started making excuses for doing a buck and a 65, said the hospital needed her. I told her, everyone has a job, babe. That doesn't mean you get to break the law. She laughed and mumbled. I said, speak up, and she said, when I'm late, someone else picks up my hammer. When she's late, someone dies. She realized how it sounded right away and tried walking it back, said she'll be the one paying the insurance anyway, made it worse. I know she was just being fresh, but I can't lie, that one stung. Don't think she meant nothing by it, but it hit me wrong. I work hard. I don't have some fancy degree, but I get up every day and earn my living. I don't care that she outpaces me in every way, money, career, all that. I really don't, but I don't want to feel like I'm just chasing her shadow. Anyone else dealt with this kind of imbalance? Am I just insecure? I know plenty of ladies stay home with doctor husbands who bring home the bread, but it feels different when I'm supposed to be the man in the relationship. I love her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. Just needed to get that off my chest. Would appreciate some advice. Now, I want to clarify, I am in no way any kind of expert or am accredited in any realistic way, either job, career, or even life experience wise to comment on this. That said, if I had to speculate, I would say it feels sort of insecure. It kind of feels like there's this expected ideal OP's placing on themselves about how they have to be as the man in the relationship, which just isn't true. I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with telling your partner they need to slow down. I mean, sure, it's going to save you on insurance, but you don't want them to be the ones that need the emergency room. It's just the situation and the way OP's feeling makes the whole thing feel a bit more hazier and more uncomfortable than it really should be. VB Powered Windmill commented, blue-collar worker here. I repair mining machinery. A bunch of years ago when I was an apprentice, I went out with a doctor. She was not the whole package, had a bunch of unaddressed and unwilling to address things, but one thing she didn't ever do is look down on me. What I'm reading with you is that you're pretty darn insecure about it. Either A, accept the difference, or B, do something about it. That's not something you need to or should make decisions about on your own. Talk to her. Hey, I'm feeling insecure about our positions in life. Can we talk about it? Go forth and good luck. Our next story is, people who say we need to hang out soon with no intention of making plans should just say nothing. Been hearing, let's grab coffee from the same coworker for 18 months. Either suggest a real date or stop pretending we're going to be friends. This drives me absolutely insane. There's this whole category of people who constantly talk about getting together but never ever follow through with actual planning. They'll say, we should totally hang out with the enthusiasm of someone booking a vacation and then immediately forget the conversation happened. My coworker Sarah does this religiously. Every few weeks, she'll corner me with, oh my god, we really need to get drinks soon, have so much to tell you. Then I'll suggest actual days and times and suddenly she's super busy or will check her calendar and get back to me. Spoiler alert, she never gets back to me. If you don't actually want to hang out, just don't bring it up. Say, see you Monday instead of, we should definitely catch up this weekend. when you know darn well you're going to spend Saturday on your couch ignoring my texts about brunch plans. That day I went home and was playing on Grizzly's Quest because I had planned the whole day to be with her, but I was stupid for believing her after she's lied to me so many times in a row. It's like social media small talk that's designed to make you sound friendly without any of the actual commitment of friendship. These people want the credit for being social without doing any of the work of maintaining relationships. The worst part is when they act confused if you stop responding enthusiastically to their fake plans. Like, sorry, but after 18 months of "we should totally hang out," I've learned to treat your suggestions like spam emails. So I've got to be honest, I'm kind of on both sides of the argument here. There's been times where I have said we should totally hang out or do something soon, but I think what sets me apart from the example OP mentioned is I never actually give like exact dates. I don't really say something like, "oh, we should do something this weekend." Thing is though, it feels like 75% of the time, if I say that to somebody, they'll agree with me and they'll be the ones that just go full on DOA. I'm gonna be honest, it's gotten discouraging multiple times before because I will reach out to people and be like, "hey, thinking of doing so-and-so next week, are you gonna be free sometime?" And they'll say yes or most likely, and you just go 3 or 4 times in a row where they have something pop up or they can't do it or they're not feeling well. And it's like, fair enough, but you kind of start to feel like, are we even really friends? Like, if a hangout happens, why does it always have to be like a spontaneous, "hey, you want to do something right now" thing? And I can just never rely on scheduling something. Alarming Isopod 7429 commented, "I used to be the one trying to get people to confirm availability, etc., but I got so fed up of flaky people. I have a 3-strike rule. If someone flakes, cancels, or doesn't confirm on 3 occasions, I stop all efforts with that person. I now have a much smaller circle of friends and coworkers, but they're all people who make an effort in return. My response to flaky people is now, let me know, then get on with my day." Our next story is, I dumped my girlfriend because she made a test Instagram story and I failed. I, 26-year-old male, broke up with my girlfriend of 9 months yesterday because I'm apparently supposed to treat her Instagram like a job interview. She posted a black screen to her story with the caption, "Some people really disappoint you, LOL." No context, no explanation, just that. So I ignored it, because I'm not a mind reader and I'm not going to play high school games. I assumed it was about one of her friends or just her being passive-aggressive about work or whatever. Well, apparently that was a test. She told me I failed because I didn't message her right away asking what was wrong. She said it showed I don't care enough to check in. I told her I don't check Instagram every 5 minutes, and if she has a problem with me, she should act like an adult and talk to me instead of fishing for attention through vague stories. She said I was being cold and emotionally unavailable. I said she was being manipulative and immature. She cried. I packed my stuff. But she's still messaging me telling me I'm heartless for leaving over one small thing. But it's not one small thing. It's the million little red flags I've ignored for too long. The tests, the mood swings, the social media drama. I'm not dating a puzzle I have to solve daily just to avoid a tantrum. I want peace, not stories written in invisible ink that I'm expected to decode while she sits there with her arms crossed waiting to see if I love her enough to notice. Done, blocked, logged out. I feel like I can breathe again. So I don't know what it says about me, but if I did see something like that, I probably would have reached out and been like, "hey, is everything okay?" But I do kind of agree with OP. It would get very tiring very quickly to feel like you kind of feel like every week is pop quiz week and you're getting grilled on things that just you shouldn't be getting grilled about. Jimbo Jingles 1987 commented, "Less than a month into my current relationship, I was worried I was going to have to end things because of a test my girlfriend denied being a test. We're 4 months in, so it's still super new, but about a week after April Fool's, I got a text from a random number saying they were some woman's name, and they got my info from some guy. She then asked if I was single, and I said no, and I screenshotted the convo and sent it to my girlfriend like, 'what is going on? This never happens,' type of thing. She was like, 'oh, that's weird.' Then a few minutes later, she sent me a screenshot of her arguing with that person since my screenshot included the phone number. I responded and asked her why she's even replying since it was a waste of time and likely a scam or something. Then the random person asked me again if I was single and asked if I wanted to see her boobs. At that point, I just blocked the number. About 10 or so minutes later, I'm texting with my girlfriend about this, and that's when she goes, "Oh, by the way, April Fools, that was me, LMAO," and I was pretty annoyed. I asked her why she felt the need to test me, to which she said it wasn't a test, it was an April Fool's joke. A week after April Fools. I asked her what would have happened if I responded differently or played along longer or took longer to screenshot it to send her or even just took longer to respond, etc. And she said it wouldn't have made a difference and she knew I wouldn't. I thought I was going to have to break up with her since she couldn't even admit that that's what she was doing. But instead, I decided to stick with her and give her another chance. It's been pretty great since then. She hasn't tested me again. There's been a couple of times where she's thought I was lying to her or hiding something from her and she's gotten upset before discussing it with me. Pretty innocuous stuff too, but each time we've settled things before the end of the day. She has a lot of trust issues we're trying to work through slowly but surely. Our next story is, I ruined their day by informing them of their genetic heritage. My in-laws have always leaned heavily on being half Italian. They've used it to dictate their love for certain foods, their tendency toward a particularly round body type, their personality, whatever that means, and their jokes and slurs toward each other. My husband did a DNA test last year and found out that his Italian grandparents are actually a mix of different European groups, including German and Spanish, but virtually no Italian, 0.7% I believe. We thought it was hilarious that they've been wrong this whole time and had a fun conversation with his grandparents, who grew up with prejudice against the Portuguese while apparently being 8% Portuguese. Still, he didn't want to break the news to the rest of his family yet. While eating at an Italian restaurant recently, the comment was made that they are obsessed with the place because it's just in their blood. I rolled my eyes a bit. Then, my sister-in-law called my brother-in-law a greasy slur for Italian, and I turned to my husband and asked if he's gotten around to telling them the truth yet. He chuckled nervously and told me I could break the news. My brother-in-law laughed, while my sister-in-law looked at me like I spit in her mouth. My husband started explaining the rest of his results while she sat there in disbelief. Her friend piped up and said, "Well, you never know. Husband might not have any Italian, but that doesn't mean sister-in-law and brother-in-law don't. There's lots of variation between siblings." Me, a biologist, had to explain that there may be some variation, but certainly not that much. Later on, brother-in-law dropped another Italian slur in a joke, and I joked back with him, "Remember, you can't say that anymore, you'll get canceled." Sister-in-law responded, "I don't care what the test says. The last names will always be Italian." My husband, the hero, replied, "It's alright, she's trans-Italian." We all cackled. Sister-in-law was not amused. To be fair, in a way, it's kind of like attacking what they thought was their almost entire personality, so it's not really surprising they would act the way they did. I mean, imagine trying to cope in the moment with the revelation that your entire existence is kind of a lie. Avid Learner Bot commented, "That trans-Italian comment cracked me up too. Reminds me of when my own dad once claimed to have pure Spanish blood until I showed him his great-grandma's Irish census record." Conway commented, "My pa hated the Irish. His mother was a Munro. The Munros originate from Ireland. The look we got when we told him is something I'll always remember. I don't think I heard him say an ill word about the Irish after. He thought he was mostly English, Welsh, and Scottish." Our next story is, "My son needed a liver transplant. I'm not a match because he isn't my biological son. I, 26-year-old male, have been with my wife, 26-year-old female, since we were in school. We have a 4-year-old son together, or so I thought. He had to be rushed to the hospital a while ago because he somehow managed to get into my wife's sleeping pills. She swears she put the lid on properly and put them in her drawer, but he somehow found them and managed to open the child-proof lid and took a lot of them. He went into acute liver failure, and we were told he would possibly need a transplant. Obviously, I said that I would do it, and they did all their tests, blood, tissue compatibility, etc. Their tests came back, and I was told I'm not a match because of my blood type. If I remember correctly, their exact words were, There is an unexpected discrepancy in the blood we tested. The doctor kept saying it would be better if he could speak to me in private away from my wife, but she didn't want to leave or for me to leave. Now I know why, but at the time I was confused. Eventually she let me go and the doctor told me my blood type is O. I knew that, but my son's was AB. I'm not dumb and I knew what he was trying to tell me. He probably couldn't tell me outright, so I asked if that means it's impossible that I'm his biological father, and he said yes. I didn't want to make a scene in the hospital, so I just went home. I wanted to stay with my son. I know he isn't actually mine, but I've been his dad for 4 years. I knew I wouldn't be able to stay calm. Thankfully, all the tests they ran were in case the worst happened, and it didn't. His liver has managed to recover, and he's on the mend. I still haven't gotten any answers from her, and I really don't want any. I know she slept with someone else and the kid isn't mine. That's all I need to know. I moved out and let her stay at the house because she has him and I can't kick him out of his house. I'm currently staying at my mother's until I can figure out what to do for the best. I'm not really good with my emotions, but I can admit this has hit me hard. It feels the same as when my best friend passed away, even though I haven't lost anybody in that sense this time. And I really don't know what to do. I've lost my wife and my son at the same time, and it's been over a week since it happened, and I still have no clue what to do. She's been spamming me with texts and calls, asking to talk and asking me to let her explain, and telling me that it meant nothing and that she only loves me, but I really don't want to hear it. Nothing she can say will fix it at all. I'm not taking her back, so I don't give a crap about what she has to say. But I can't just abandon my little man. I've been his dad his whole life, and that doesn't just go away because we haven't got the same blood. But it also means I have no rights to see him when I divorce my wife. I feel like a complete idiot for not seeing anything wrong. The chances she cheated on me once and got pregnant are low, so realistically I know it had to be something that happened a few times, and I didn't suspect anything. I didn't suspect the kid I raised for 4 whole years wasn't actually mine. I don't know why I'm posting it here because I can't even ask for advice, but thanks for reading anyway. So I don't know if this takes place in anywhere beyond the US, but as far as I understand, at least in the US, if your name is on that birth certificate, you are kind of the dad with parental rights, even if it comes out that they're not biologically yours. I mean, I've heard a number of stories where it comes out that the kid is not the father's and they want to do the opposite of what OP's doing. They don't want parental rights, they don't want to have to pay for child support or anything, but because their name is on that birth certificate, they still had to pay the child support. A bunch of L's and I's commented, "Why does she get to have it all when she was the one doing it wrong? You can have your son and the house while she sleeps somewhere else. That son may not be yours. If you feel it is, then it is, since his biological father is not with him. Why leave such a woman to teach your son and be the role model when she grows up? I come from a biological parent-children relationship, yet that emotion and everything else is missing. It's not about being biological, but your wife that cheated on you or deceived you is on the wrong." Live Freely or Die commented, "Exactly. Send her cheating butt to the Motel 6. Our next story is, "I'm an adult with a cute/unique name and I hate it. Give your kids normal names." I'm using a throwaway because I'm in a bad mood and I don't want people on my main to know how dumb my legal name is. I'm a 23-year-old woman and my mother and father actually named me Bunny, and my 3 siblings have equally cutesy or dumb names. My name is Bunny, and I had to grow up hearing comments my entire life. Whenever I complained, I got my mom guilt-tripping my siblings and I by saying, "I thought I raised you not to care what people think." And she acted like she was being stabbed when my older brother had his name legally changed to William. He happily became a Bill because he was so sick of his. My sister was bullied bad in middle and high school because the kids decided she had a stripper name. Unfortunately, my mother continued her stupid naming streak with her new husband, and I have a tween half-sister who hates her name and fights with our mom over it, and a toddler half-brother who doesn't know that he shares a name with a snack cake. Name your kids something they can live with. All the Bambis, Bunnies, Rainies, Cloudy Days, and Icies wish they could be called Greg or Liz. As soon as I save up enough money and get the documents, I'm legally changing mine to the name I've been going by for the past year. I gotta admit, I'm right there with OP. I kind of think like the argument of, well, this kid might get bullied in school isn't necessarily like the strongest argument, but let's be real, kids are cruel and it's likely going to happen. I mean, no offense to OP, but when I was a little kid, we rescued a dog from the shelter who was named Bunny, and even the dog we renamed because we didn't like the name. Tujvio commented, "My parents named me Grammar. I wish I was joking." BB Cowgirl replied, "Imagine if you were terrible at grammar." Tujvio responded, "Thankfully, I'm good at it." But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely crazy Redditor confession, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.